I want to talk about this Tennessee quarterback situation. And
Jeez, what a mess.
well, I don't know about you, Chris. So I've been doing daily talk radio since all this stuff started. Okay, like when we really were digging into the NIL thing, when all these lawsuits started firing off, and I followed it very closely. And the thing I've always thought, right or wrong, but it's been my observation, is that media in general, not everyone, but media in general, has been very pro player.
Too much so.
I would agree with you. I'm just making an observation here.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, it's been very, very pro player. And I would say to an extreme extent, like 70 to 80%. And there's nuance to this. Like, there's a lot of nuance to this. So don't jump to judge us too quickly here. But I thought over the weekend when this story hit about the Tennessee Nico, what's his last name? I'm going to
Iamaleava.
Yes. When Nico got the boot from Tennessee after reportedly, from what I gathered, he saw what a bunch of these basketball players were getting, and this is going to be a thing in football in the next 2 weeks. Just set yourself up now, because all these guys are seeing what their basketball compadres are getting paid, and they are all going to ask for more money. You just wait. This is, once spring football ends this week, we've got a 2-week span where football is going to get nuts, so buckle up, everybody. But Josh Heupel basically tells him, thanks, but no thanks, and shows him the door. And I thought we saw a shift in media and in just general public sentiment where the majority of people were like, good, screw that guy.
Yeah.
Now, again, there's nuance here. Like, that kid or his agent or whatever, they're doing everything within the rules to get themselves more money. They had all the right in the world to ask for that within the parameters of how this bullshit thing is set up.
But it wasn't just that he asked for it; he basically held out.
He's like, I'm not going to come to practice until you pay me. I mean, it's essentially how I understood what happened this weekend. Heupel shows him the door, but I felt a public sentiment shift that was not anti-player, but that was pro-organization, pro-college sports that I hadn't seen.
Yeah. That's a good point. I agree. I think the majority of people, and the overwhelming majority of people, were fine with what Tennessee did here and let him go. Now, I do wonder how much different this would have been if this was a better quarterback. Like this guy, yeah, he had the hype coming in, but he hadn't really shown it on the field. You look at his performances against good teams and very, very average. I would almost say below average against good teams. Even in the playoff, he was terrible. He doesn't have big numbers. If this guy would have performed at a high level, maybe Tennessee keeps him and pays him. And I promise you, he's going to hit the portal. Somebody's going to overpay for this guy, thinking that they can.
I saw a thread last night. A bunch of Ohio State fans were clamoring for him.
Oh, jeez.
Already.
Somebody will overpay for him, but I am glad that Tennessee stepped up and said, you know what, you're not good enough. This is what we value you at. We're not giving you, because the reports were he was making around 2.3, I believe, for this upcoming season, and he wanted 4. And they said no, he didn't show up, so they said, see ya, because I think they may already have somebody that's every bit as good as him on their roster, and he just wasn't worth the headache, because this would have been a major headache. And you know what? You say, you give a mouse a cookie, you say yes to him, every other player on that roster is going to say, what about me? Because they all knew.
It's happening all over the country in basketball right now.
Yeah.
All over the country. I've talked to coaches from west to east. Every single one of them dealing with this right now.
And it's
because, and like, I mean, I know like 2 Iowa State guys who transferred who they didn't want back, who are getting paid probably triple or to quadruple what they got paid at Iowa State last year to go to another place where, I mean, I don't know if they'll, I hope that they're successful. It's not like hard feelings or anything. But the point is, when I'm guessing at this new school, there's guys who are like established there who have put sweat equity into the program who are now making half of what these 2 new guys are who haven't done anything there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, so it's a psychological thing. And the whole, like, the farce of it to me, especially in basketball, with the amount of turnover, because you're talking 13 scholarships. So, like, when 4 guys transfer, like, you're blowing up your team, essentially, right? Like, and there's a couple guys graduate or whatever. Like, it's not like it used to be when, we got Settles and Kingsbury back and Monteer Glasper and, like, like, it's not like that anymore. So to like pitch the whole like team thing is a little shallow to me right now because none of this is based on that. Like, sure, when they all get there in June, we're gonna try and form a team.
Yeah.
But like to ask the returning guy, hey, we just need you to do this for the sake of the team. Well, what team? Like all my teammates from last year are gone. Like nobody's even here. Like the whole thing is just so it's like like I said last week on the Jefferson deal with Iowa State, like I have a hard time hating on his people or whatever for trying to maximize his dollar value. Like that's just the way the thing's set up. You have one career.
Yeah. And I think there are ways to do it. Like
correct. Yeah.
Now the timing of this just sets up differently for different sports, but it's not like Jefferson missed any important meetings or he wasn't holding out. Nico held out, didn't show up, just didn't come. Thought he was basically an NFL player, and what works for those guys is going to work for me. This is a good tone setter going into the college football transfer portal window, because maybe this will give some players pause. Like, geez, if they're going to show a 5-star quarterback the door, maybe I shouldn't be asking for the moon or demanding the moon. But it's going to be crazy. You know it. When does it open? Next week?
Yeah, I believe. Or this week even, maybe.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be mass chaos.
Maybe later this week. Yeah, it's... Well, we already have...
This basketball thing really, really impacts football across the country. Oh, yeah.
Well, in more ways than one. Because you're going to have, like Nico, these football players who, and Adam says it opens up on Wednesday, he thinks.
Thanks, Adam.
April 16th.
That sounds right to me, but...
You have the impact of these football players now knowing these insane numbers that these basketball players are now making. But you also have boosters, everyday fans that have maybe completely maxed out for these basketball guys. And now here's football rolling around asking for more. And they're like, whoa.
Also at a time where the markets are down too. Like, and that does make an impact. Like where you're looking at your portfolio, it's down 15% to what it was.
Yep.
Right. So like it, and then the sheer economics of all of this, and this is what's just so fascinating to me. It's not the passion. Like you cannot mistake passion for the economics of college athletics. There is as much passion at many of these places for college basketball as there is college football, okay? In many of these places. Not all, but many. But you cannot mistake the economic value that football has that basketball does not. So when you're the Tennessee quarterback and you're looking at the amount, like 100,000 plus paying to watch you 7 Saturdays a year.
But I get that, but there's 85 guys you got to
understood.
Pay, compared to 15?
Well, understood. I guess my point is, just from a sheer economic standpoint, if I am his agent, I could make the argument, I believe, a fair argument, that the quarterback, if he's good, should be the highest paid player on campus.
Yeah.
Going forward, like at any of these places. Right?
Yeah.
Because of the economic value. That's all I'm saying. Your point is correct. If you bring in 2 stud basketball players, it makes a much larger impact than bringing in 2 stud football players on an overall roster. But
you're right. It's all when you look at the bottom dollar from
Yes.
these athletic departments, every single dollar they make is thanks to football.
Correct. Especially in the SEC.
Very small impact even from men's basketball.
Yeah. And what a time. What a time we're living in here.